Welcome into another episode of the Film Room. I'm really excited to be joined today by guard over at Duke, Reigan Richardson. Reigan, first and foremost, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I can't complain. We were talking about it before we hopped on. I have no idea how Thanksgiving's next week. We got all these tournaments are popping off. Conference play is right around the corner, which it just doesn't feel like it should be. But knowing like this is last year here, what has that felt like kind of being to sit in that a little bit? I know it's just you and Vanessa is the only seniors on roster. So what has that kind of been like feeling that out?
It's a little surreal, being senior and knowing that hopefully I'll be able, to take my game to the next level like next year. I'm really just trying to leave it all on the floor. Um, it hasn't hit me yet that it's my last year. Hopefully it doesn't really hit me because I love my team, I love my coaches, and I'm gonna miss them dearly. But ultimately, like I just want to leave it all on the floor this season.
Yeah, I feel like that is the Duke way, to be honest. So it's like, how can you not, right? But going off that too, in terms of mentioning like, this is a newer team in some aspects. What has that been like for you learning new bigs? Because I know like so much of last year, and with a lot of people I've had on this, they talk about anytime playing you guys last year was like it was hell playing against Camilla um and Kennedy. And so what has that been like in kind of learning a new group that's a little bit younger that maybe didn't get as much playing time last year? Because I think, obviously it makes an impact in a lot of ways, but as a guard, it changes up some things for you.
Yeah, for sure. We have a great new pieces that are coming in, yet we do have a lot of people that are coming back with experience. So just having those pieces, with the freshmen and newcomers coming in, they always have somebody to lean on if they have any questions. But for us, it's just to get them acclimated with, the system here at Duke, and they've been doing great so far. And I'm just excited to see what the progress will be like later in the season.
Has who's kind of like taking you by surprise? I don't want to put it because obviously you've been practicing with them, you've been around it, but like who's somebody you're really excited about with kind of the steps that they've shown so far, early on in the year?
Delaney has really stepped up to the role where we needed her to be. Like you mentioned, like we've had Ken and Camilla last year, and Delaney has done a great job just stepping into that role, especially being a leader as well for Toby and our other freshmen. Um, really just everybody, JD, Oluchi, everybody has really grown over the summer and over the past year. So, it's really exciting.
Definitely. I have to ask too with Oluchi. I think she plays harder than anybody I've ever seen in basketball. It's actually nuts. Uh, I'm assuming like that in practice too, right?
Oh, for sure. Like it's not different. How it
Yeah.
is in the game, it's like that in practice as
She
well.
seems like the exact kind of player I would never want to be matched up with in practice because no, like you'll get your
Oh,
game better,
I have
but I'm gonna
to
be
guard her. I
tired.
have to guard her every day in practice.
Oh God. That is I'm sure that is an adventure. But looking at this team as a whole too, in terms of being here, like I think a lot of people can see Duke from the outside. Like obviously I mean Kara is famous for her speeches that people see, obviously handle hard better, but like getting to be under her and learn from her, obviously a great coach, but somebody who was a great player. Um, can you kind of quantify what that's been like in getting to have that sort of experience? I mean, even the whole coaching staff, Tia, Kyra. I mean, there's a ton of experience and wealth and knowledge on this staff.
I don't know, it's been great. Kara is very knowledgeable and has experience in every field that I want to, be in. Um, we've really been focused on really just building a stronger relationship together, and we've done that, and it's been really great. I'm able to come to her not only about basketball stuff, but stuff off the court, and she's always there whenever I need her, and she's just a great person overall.
And just in general, like in kind of building up those relationships too. Like I think so much of being better connected on the court is like being better connected off of it. So what does that look
Well,
like, in terms of kind of building that stuff up?
yeah, there's points in time in practice where I know I could have done something a little bit different, or I know that I made a mistake where I shouldn't have, and I just look at her and I'd be like, "Yeah, I know." Like I know what she's gonna say, but no, like our relationship off the court definitely translate on the court because we know how each other think. Like she knows how I operate, and I know what she's expected of. I know what she's expected of me, and what I need to produce on the court. So you know, we kind of work hand in hand when it comes to that.
Absolutely. And I definitely like because you like kind of like you mentioned, I get the vibe that you're very much somebody who's hard on yourself when you do make a mistake. So, what has it been like in kind of trying to, especially growing as a leader and like being somebody who, um, is obviously like embodying what the team wants to do and finding some of that confidence in that too. Because I think like again, like being somebody who's stepping up in that spot doesn't always feel like shoot, like I'm a senior, but like that's where it is at the beginning of the season.
Right, exactly. I feel like for me, like I'm such a perfectionist and I just really want things to go the right way. Like I know who my coaches are and I know what my teammates expect of me. So of course every day like I want to come in and give them like 100% of me and make sure I perform up to that standard. But I know not every day is like that. And so I know with Coach Kara and just my other coaching staff and my team, they always try to pick me up whenever I do get down on myself. And over the years, I've been working not to be so hard on myself, just because like everybody makes mistakes. Everybody's gonna have days where it's not perfect, and I have to understand that. And yeah, I feel like how I am mentally this year has been way better than what I was when I first came to college, and I'm just proud of myself and how I've improved in that kind of aspect.
Yeah, no, it definitely shows, and it's been fun to watch. Kind of going off that too, though. Like, so when you do have days where, like, okay, maybe your shot's not there, or there's something that's, like, just, you have those days where it doesn't fully click. What do you
Mhm.
feel like you can bring to the court every time you step on the floor, even if, okay, maybe there is a game where your shot's off or something like that?
Yeah, of course. I do get hard on myself whenever my shot is not going, and then my position coach is always like, you're really good on defense, right? I'm like, okay, you're right. It's like I don't need to rely on, making a shot to get myself going. I can also, get myself going on a defensive end. So I know there's been games this season where I have done that. There's been games where I haven't shot the ball that well, and I've relied on my defense to get me going. And yeah, I feel like that's another aspect that I can bring to my team.
Yeah, I definitely agree because you bring a lot on the court on the defense, so much we'll dive into. I want to ask you though, in terms of like how you view the game and how you've kind of grown and how you see it. Um, like first off, are you somebody who watches a lot of basketball outside like your own tape and scout?
Yeah, I do. I was actually just watching the game before I
I'm assuming South Carolina Clemson.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I need to watch that tonight. But okay, cool. So like, kind of just always have it on in the background and kind of taking things away from it.
Mhm.
I love that. Do you have any players that like I don't want to say like modeled your game after, but players that you kind of like watched growing up or saw things that you really wanted to take away and build off of?
Oh, yeah, growing up, I love Candace Parker, I love Elena Delle Donne, Maya Moore. I watched a lot of Kevin Durant growing up. I actually used to wear his number all the time growing
Yep.
up. That was my favorite player. I just love how versatile they are with their size and how they're able to post up down low and, be able to hand the ball as well. And I try to add that to my game. I have a little turnaround jumper in the post. I try to mimic from Katie and stuff like that and Candace Parker, so
I love that, and I think especially mentioning EDD too. Like I think for you, like when I watch a game, I think counters. Like I think so much of what you do is and how you're going to continue to be successful is like having counters and like being able to continue building off that. And you already have a lot of great ones in place, but it's like the consistency aspect and kind of like you mentioned a little bit when talking and just like getting more comfortable with that mindset. What has been biggest for you with that? Because I think like I watched back the entire tourney run the last week and the ACC tournament as well. And like I think about it, like when I watch the games where you play well, especially in that tournament, I'm like, these are games. Not that I'm expecting you to drop 28 every game, but I'm like, I watch you and I think to me, I watched that game. I'm like, that's just you playing basketball. It wasn't like a heater. It was like obviously you got hot from the field, but also I'm like, this is just you like finding ways to be assertive and like really playing your game. And so like
right.
finding, continuing to find that consistency. What has that been like for you? And kind of, getting to that level.
Like you said, like just playing basketball. Really try not to, think too hard about the game, think too much about what I shouldn't do and what I should do. Just go out there and play freely, play the game that I know best. And um, I felt like that's what I did in the tournament last year, and I just got to find that spark again.
Absolutely. Well, to close out before we get into the film, in terms of thinking about the next level and looking at the next level, when you're talking about getting there and feeling out that impact, who's been really big in your ear and kind of just in your corner and like helping direct you to that and continuing to grow into that.
I have so many people in my corner.
Yeah,
Too many to list,
which I
but
love to hear.
um, my coaches, growing up, I have a trainer back home, Coach Ashley, my mom, And then I have another trainer, Coach Tim. Just all my trainers and of course my coaching staff and my family, they've always been here for me, always been there to just lift me up in points where I need it or give me advice at points where I needed it. And, they always keep me level headed. So I really appreciate them for that. And I wouldn't be here without them.
Well, that was heartfelt. I love hearing that.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I mean, I think that's so big, because especially like getting to the next level. I don't know how much you talk to like, some of your teammates who have made it to the next level, but I think so much to the next level is about being able to focus and, like being able to kind of find your stride when so little of it is about basketball. Like, that's the hard part for a lot of people getting to the next level, is like you think it's all basketball all the time, when in reality it's like, okay, cool, like 90% of the time I'm not on the court,
Right,
and I have to
exactly.
figure out what that means, right?
Exactly.
So it's just like a very different setting for sure.
Mhm.
I also have to ask too, before I pull up the film, have you ever gone back and watched Kara play?
No, I haven't.
Ooh, I'm about to see some film. She was tough. She was really tough.
Oh, no,
Really
I
good
know that
guard.
for sure, like, I
Yeah.
know she's like, the confidence that she brings into practice, there'll be, like, points of time in practice where she demonstrates it for us, and she'll shoot a 3 just without no warm up, and it'd be cash, and she's always like, "You should pass to me every time," something like that, something real crazy, something real funny, but,
Yeah.
yeah, she's the GOAT for sure.
Before we dive into the film, I'd like to shout out our sponsor for this video series, State Champs. State Champs is a streetwear brand based in Ohio, focused on building up women's sports and local sports. Check out their website at the link down below for the apparel collab we've done recently. Any purchases there directly support my work, and hey, you can get some cool swag as well. Back to the film. Yeah, no, she had quite a few seasons that were like really tough, but very fun guard. All right, so I think I want to start with like obviously talking about your offensive game, and we're gonna kind of build out from there. As we're going through, if you want me to like rewind, go forward, let me know, because it's obviously it's a conversation, kind of building things out and just getting a better understanding for how you see things. Um, I think first and foremost, like when I watch your game, obviously it goes without saying your pull up two is your breadwinner. Like I think that is like your number one thing that you bring to the court every day, is like what you can do coming off movement. And it's
Mhm.
not just like the jumper. Like obviously you do, I think you shot like 45% on your pull up twos last year, which is a really good clip. But it's your movement too. Like I think you're so good at like just taking the right path to get somewhere and making it tough. And like Celeste is a hell of a defender, but you make it really difficult because you use your screens well.
And Jalen put the message in the chat.
Oh, I
Talking
got you.
about mid-range killer.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I missed that. But absolutely. I mean, that's so much of your game, and I think continuing to build off that is big time. You bring a lot with that. Like that's just I don't have anything else to add on that, but exactly, like, I think there's just so much there. And I think part of what was really fun in watching this game back, again, in general, I think, again, like we talk about with counters, like, all right, so you're a player who, like, typically you're coming off the wing, playing more out of screens, and being
Yeah.
able to, like, kind of take what's there, like, you get overplayed a little bit, and then you're like, okay, cool, quick fake, then into getting into this, and then another counter. And like, I think that stuff again is so big for you, because it's just all those quick reads, making those quick movements. And you talk about a player like Kevin Durant, Elena Deladon, like that's their game entirely, like doing that stuff from the mid range.
Yeah, I just feel like going throughout the season last year, that's something that I really like developed because like I wasn't really making quick reads like that at the beginning of the season. It took like the repetition and just being like in those like big moments for me to actually like acquire those. And I feel like just going leading up into like the tournament, I think having those counters really helped me just find my spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's funny too, because like, or funny is not my word, but like coincidental, because I think like so often people think like I have to get better with the ball in my hands to be a better scorer. And I think so
Mhm.
much of what's going to continue to make you a better scorer, like you already are good, but like continue to build on it, is like you said, like what you do without the ball is so big for making you even more effective when you have the ball. One of the things I really like here too, because again, in this game, I think so much of it was like being forced into your counters, the way that Ohio State continued to play on you as you kept scoring. And I love getting into this floater. Like you didn't take a ton of them last year, but I feel like you have a really good floater, because you have that touch, you have that ability to get into the arc and play like that. And it's something I want to see you keep doing more and more, especially heading into that next level, like having those kind of, like we talked about, counters, like just getting in, making things tough on a defense to guard you.
Right, for sure. There's something that I really like been working on over the course of the summer, actually. I know my trainer back home, he's always like, if you get it, like you can be not just a three-way scorer, you can be a four-way scorer, just adding a floater to your game. And that's something that we've been working on over the summer. I've been doing it a little bit in practice, but that's definitely something that I can continue to work on.
Definitely. I think it speaks to something too, like, in general, like, not every team wants you to get into it. It just kinda depends where you're at, right? Like,
Right.
okay, if
Exactly.
Kara draws up a set, well, you can't play the set. So it's like, it's about building those skills up and continuing to layer it for when you can use it.
Exactly.
So right here too, like continuing to look at like we talk about like being a four-way score, which that's a new one for me. Talking about like getting to the cup, like right here, I love the strength you use to get here. Like obviously I think Madison does a good job of sticking to your hip and making it tough, but obviously get back to the basket and get a foul. I did want to ask though, in terms of getting more comfortable with your left, because I do think that's something for you that I look at. Like I think there's room for you to keep getting comfortable with your left.
Right.
What has that development been like for you? Because I do feel like some of the games where, when teams did start trying to take away your right and make you work left, is
Mhm.
where you had a little bit of trouble last year. So what has that process been like in working for you on that?
No, for sure. That's something that I really took time to work on during the summer, even like to now, like every morning, like I try to work on my ball handling just to get my left strong and just to be more confident with that. I feel like that's another thing with that as well, just having that confidence that I am I'm a good guard. I can handle the ball and bring the ball up the floor, and I don't need to be scared or shade one way or the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just something that I've definitely been working on and something that I have gotten better at for sure.
Absolutely. And I love it because like you mentioned with the confidence piece, like even though obviously I know tough game, but like looking at this game as a whole, I think the confidence was something that really stood out for you still. And like you do get shaded a little bit in this game. Like you get hit right off the screen. And again, you get to your left and I love the scoop here to get to it too. But like just playing strong, playing with confidence, I think so much for you again, just when I watch your game is like continuing to be assertive and like picking those spots.
Right.
So I wanted to actually throw you through some W film because there's a player who like obviously you guys have different games, different skill sets, but I think like somebody who I watch that when I watch off ball players, like players who are primarily like coming off screens, is just like to me the best in terms of counters and stuff that you can watch in W right now. It's DeWanna Bonner. So
Mhm.
like I love this clip. If anything, I'll let you say, all right, what stands out to you watching this clip from how she gets to the ball?
You know, she's really patient. She's just watching what the defender does. You know, the defender kind of cheated the screen a little bit, and so she read the whip and spaced out.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like I think that's one of the things she's so good at that I always try and teach players. Like it's just the steps in, like right here, taking the steps in, you set up your screens with it. Cause like so much of it is like being a player who like when you can shoot and you can get that gravity, like being able to use it against people is so big, right? And that opens up so much. So I love that you noticed that and we're able to point it out.
Right, and that's something that we preach, you know, every day in practice, you know, take your defender to the screen, you know, make them use it. That's something that we preach all the time in practice.
Absolutely. And like, yeah, again here too, like I think you see, all right, even just like a quick head fake to the basket opens up so much. Because to me, like Gabby Williams, incredible defender, but like you have to respect the screen. You have to respect what you can do, and it opens so much up. And again, like I think that's something where like when as you keep building that stuff out, because you do it, but I think doing it even more consistently is going to be so big for you.
Right.
Because like you mentioned with the patience right here, I think that's the thing. Like I think with your game, I think as you keep getting more patient, like it's scary because I think the best moments you have are when you're really patient with the ball. Because right here, like this is a good shot for you. Like we talked about, that mid range is money for you. But I'm like, okay, if Kennedy sets the screen a little bit more and you kind of work with it, I'm like, you have an advantage here. There's a way to attack. Like obviously, I know like Kara wants to prioritize playing fast, getting into some of that stuff. But I think like even with you, like here, right? I think like you mentioned, being aggressive, being finding that patience is really big time.
Yeah, for sure. I did a little rush this shot a little bit, but I
Mm.
could have took probably took like one or two more dribbles to see what the defense was doing. Maybe could have got like a rescreen or something, or you know, keep playing with my teammates. But I don't know. I feel like I was feeling it a little bit in the
Yeah,
game.
you're feeling it in this game. I won't lie. Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, it's always a balance, right? Like you want to find what you have and do that. But like, I think because exactly like this same game, like I love this play. Like this is one of my favorite plays from the entire year. I think you just really look to take what you can get. You let the rescreen happen. I know this ends up a turnover, but in general, like I watch this and I'm like, this is the stuff I like seeing from you because I think there's even more to unlock with what you do as a playmaker.
Yeah, but one thing I was getting back on defense. Look at that sprint.
Hey, we love that. Like we mentioned, like getting back on like what you bring to the court every day. I know you're bringing the defense. And I think that's so important for being somebody like to get more opportunities on offense. You got to bring it every day on defense, right?
Right.
Um, Another thing too here, like I think when I watch you too, I think one thing with like continuing to even get better at finishing at the rim, I think you don't use your strength enough sometimes. Because like I watch this and I'm like, when you go away from contact, like you can make that shot. I've seen you make that shot before. You're really tough with the offhand, like just like doing some of the off away stuff. But I watch this and I'm like, if you get into Taylor a little bit here and then up, I think that's so much easier of a shot for you.
Right, and I definitely watched film after this game, and my coach were definitely saying the same thing, and probably just even playing off two, you know,
Hmm.
just reading the defense with that as well, using my pivot foot, I probably would have gotten a better shot as well.
Yeah. I think it's the fun part too though, right? Because like you're so good at doing the difficult things. And it's like when you keep slowing down and doing the things that are easy, I mean, that's like it's kind of lights out thinking about that.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, so I want to go into this because like looking at again, like some of the stuff we looked at with DB, like doing the selling your moves and the counters. Again, one of my favorite plays from you this season, just in general, kind of selling that stuff. So you sell the baseline cut and are able to just get back into the screen. Obviously, you're always good at creating space, getting sideways like that, but just having that, like having that motion, having that movement is so big in an offense, especially in the half court.
Yeah, I feel like for me, like what's really important is just, creating that space. I know using the little side step, little step back, I've used a lot like later in the year and that's something that I use pretty frequently in order to get the shot that I want and maybe just using that a little bit more just to create space or I don't know, like maybe I did really well, reading the defense, setting up the back cut, got back out whenever I needed to, waited for the screen and creating that space just ultimately it helped me get the shot that I wanted and I knocked it down. So that was good.
Yeah, 100%. Especially though, like in getting comfortable with that in this offense, like we talked about with playing with different bigs now. What has it been like feeling that out? Because like obviously, I think I mean Delaney, Jordan, Toby all bring really different things, and I think some of it is like just like I mean cool and different because like it's just a very different look for you guys. But kind of learning them as screeners and how they play. How have you kind of felt like adapting to that and getting used to that?
I know it was definitely kind of hard, at first just getting used to it because everybody has their own pace, at different pace. So, just being able to learn them and learning what their tendencies on the court and how we play with each other, our chemistry off the court, ultimately leads on the court as well. So, we play really well together and just being able to communicate, whenever we need to switch on defense or just read the defense in order to get my other teammate, the best shot.
Definitely. And I mean, this is a perfect segue into this clip because again, like this is just great stuff. Like you have to be guarded out to three, patience with the drive, and then waiting for the up fake and I mean money. Because if you get Kenny the basket under there, that's I mean it's automatic points. Um, but exactly like just the patience.
Yeah, I feel like I try to do that a lot. Find my teammates whenever I can. Like if I see their defender like step up, I'm gonna automatically try to find them and give them the ball for sure. Like I'm an unselfish player, so I always want to get my teammates involved and allow them to get theirs as well whenever they can.
Definitely. Um, right here too. I love the shot. Obviously, you take it and you make it. I want to see you get to a point too where like you don't even think about it because I think you are so good
Yeah.
from beyond the arc. Like you've got I know because I've watched you since AAU. Like you've got the range, you got the touch. I think just letting it fly because when you do that, I mean, it opens up that play that just happened. It opens up what happens in this clip, like just being able to really force things and make the defense guard you. Because right here again, like I still just think there's so much for you as a playmaker. Because right here, it's just like, okay, drag out a defense. You have two on you because of how insane you've been in this game already. and then it's easy buckets for Kennedy, like you mentioned, like getting your teammates involved. So much of it is like getting yourself involved too, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that just goes back, being patient and reading the defense as well. Not playing sped up, not allowing the defense to get me sped up, and just, staying within us.
Absolutely. I want to dive into defense now, real quick though, because I think, like you mentioned, you really stand out on that end. And I think that's such a big key for getting to the next level is being able to like, okay, if I'm going to get a coach's trust, I have to bring something every day. And I think that's defense for you. I love how aggressive you are trying to make plays on the ball without gambling. Like, I just think in general, like, make things tough, especially like Schmeichel's a little bit bigger than you. So if you can just make things difficult on the catch, that's big. Um, and then I love just the quick switch here too, hands up, make it difficult. Obviously, I know it ends up being an advantage for them a little bit, but like in general, playing a team like this where so much of the defense is okay, they have a lot of players who can handle and create, and we have to switch a bunch. How does that
Right.
kind of change up how you do things? Because I know, like you mentioned in earlier, like talking about communication. What has it been like, kind of finding that again with with this group?
One thing for us, like we've really been, just trying to help each other out. There are going to be times where teams going to take you one on one, and there's going to be times where you win the battle or you lose the battle. And when you lose the battle, you want that teammate to know like they're not by themselves. So if there's any time like where you can help them out and switch the ball, then let's do that, because we want to create an advantage where they think that they're open, but not really. If that makes sense.
No, absolutely. Because like right here, like I mean, you don't want Cheyenne Sellers going baseline. You don't want anybody going baseline like that because that's easy. So that's why it's easy switch to pick out. Um, but that makes a lot of sense to me.
Right, and then there's so many like great players in the league and just who we've gone against. So like we want to make it as tough as possible for them to be able to score the ball.
And you guys absolutely do. I can guarantee. Um, and I think again, one of the things you do really well, like we talked about your movement without the ball on offense. I think you bring that on defense too. Like you're so good tracking people to and from screens. Like you just make this handoff really difficult. Because I think so much of making a handoff difficult is just making it really hard to get to, which sounds like no duh, like of course. But like you just fight to make this incredibly difficult and end up forcing the turnover. Like I love it. Feet moving, hands up, everything hard.
Yeah, I feel like this is another one of those games where I wasn't really going offensively, and I just tried to take that to the defensive end and just get myself going. Being aggressive, but also being smart at the same time.
Definitely. Yeah, the being smart part is huge because like, you're too good to not be on the court. So like finding ways to make sure that you can stay on with your defense is big time.
Yeah.
Um, Getting to this game, I wanted to ask because like I mean watching this back, one of the most fun parts was like just seeing kind of the chess match this game was. I swear, like they changed up how they screened, where they sent screens from, where they set them, like a million times in this game. And you
And
guys changed what you did defensively a ton throughout the game. So what
right.
was that like, kind of experiencing that? Because this team, I mean, South Dakota State is like a problem for a lot of people with how
Right,
their
like
offense is.
we came in here and this team was good. Like they were with us the whole time, and they were hitting shots, we were hitting shots, but ultimately like they're really good like down low and even, or beyond the arc. So we had to mix up our defense, of course, just to try to combat that for sure. But yeah, this team, they were a great team for sure.
Yeah, they pass the ball really well and do so good, like working side entry, everything. But like, I love this player right here because, like we talked about, I think so often when people watch this, they're thinking, okay, ball screen set here, strong side's going to be, I mean, weak side's going to be on this side, right? The way
Mhm.
that they roll this, you have to tag up, otherwise that's wide open. So
That's
like,
why I don't.
this is a
Yeah.
great tag up. I love the tag, get body on, close out, and then force baseline into help. Like, this is great stuff. And I think obviously being good on the ball is really important, but being good off the ball, I think, is even more important in the league because you can't be someone who gets taken advantage of in your ball watching. So
Right.
I just love that from you. Um, but I think being like, did you guys kind of have a feel coming into this game how kind of weird they were going to be with the way they attack with screens?
Um, we know like their point guard is really good. We know that she's going to try to attack, and that's why we wanted to hedge her to prevent that from happening. And she's really good passing in the scene, so that tag helped them like slow them down just a little bit.
Yeah, no,
So that was,
definitely.
that was our game plan for that kind of game.
Yeah, no, really pack everything, make it hard to get into the paint. It's what you guys do
Yeah,
so well.
I definitely hit her a little too hard.
Hey,
So
you didn't get called for a foul though, so it's
I know, but I think that led to me getting the foul on, like, I think it was, like, a play after this, and I did the
oh,
exact same thing. I think that's why they called it. I baited the refs and it's gonna call me it.
I didn't even think about that. That's funny. Yeah, and then right here, I think this is just like, I mean, a full possession. Like, I think this showcases what you do in full possession. So, like we talked about earlier, chasing, like making sure that you're on top of it, do a good job making the catch hard. Um, guys come up for the hedge, and then I love this. Like, it seems small, but like just having your arms and feet up, doing anything to make the pass difficult. Because I think there are so many guards who just let the pass happen. Like just because you're in front of somebody doesn't mean you're taking something away. So being
Yeah.
able to like really just be active like that stands out a ton to me.
Yeah, she already had her dribble in. When she picked it up, I knew that was my chance to be a little bit more aggressive on the ball to try,
Mhm.
like, knock her vision from seeing her other teammates or getting the extra pass.
Yeah. And then I like to you really just noticing shot clock and knowing, okay, this person's open. I need to come down. You don't end up getting the rebound off it, but I like it again. Just small plays, anything small in a possession, like it matters on defense.
Yeah, they were a good rebounding team, so I had to do anything to block them out as well.
No, absolutely. They're tough. I mean, I mean, shoot, they beat Wisconsin. They beat. I can't remember who else they beat before playing you guys, but like they're gonna be tough. I'm interested to see them in March, but obviously excited to see you guys in March too. So that closes us out for film. But Reagan, I'm really excited about. My dog's excited too. Um, I, I'm really excited about what you guys have going this year and where it can keep going, and especially you as a player. Is there anything you want to mention or hit on before we get out of here?
But no, that was it. I mean, I had a great conversation. It was good to watch a little bit of film, talk about the season. I had a great conversation. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, of course. To everyone watching, of course, keep up with all things Duke women's basketball. Great season ahead, great season underway already, and most importantly, enjoy the rest of your day.